Hey, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. This is the pilot episode of Simply Put, which is basically here to serve as a proof of concept for a childhood dream of mine that I was able to work alongside my mom to complete. However, I just wanted to announce personally that on the recording day, there were some technical difficulties, so the audio channels are not perfect. However, I still know that the content in this is extremely enjoyable. So I'm excited for y'all to see it, and here it goes. What's up, everybody? My name's Chaz Smith, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Simply Put show. This episode is gonna be all about dating and relationships, and we about to get down to it. Are y'all ready? All right, let's go. Simply put. Simply put. Once again, welcome to Simply Put with yours truly, Chaz Smith, and I am so hyped to be here. This show has been a long time in the making. We are here at YouTube Space in NYC with our live studio audience. And I am super psyched that all y'all can come and be a part of us for the first episode of Simply Put. So thank you for being here to be a part of this. All right, so today we're talking about dating and relationships. As I said before, this is about to be lit. But before we get started, I want to tell y'all a couple things about the show and what you can expect every episode. Everything we do here at Simply Put is for you. This is the place where you can come to talk about any and everything. No topic is off limits. And we will also have the hottest celebrity guests as well as up-and-coming talented people that you should know about. So please, if you'd like to be a part of this show, hit us up, send a DM. And on today's show, Mario Torres, aka Tragic Hero, is going to perform. Clap it up for him. Also on every show, you'll hear from a bunch of Generation Zers and kids from all over the world who are doing incredible things. So hit us up on social media at Simply Put Show or use the hashtag Simply Put Show so we can read your questions or comments right here and give you a shout out. But all right, enough of that. Let's get this party started with our first segment, In the Cut. So this is what we call In the Cut. It's part of our show where we have a rather lively discussion with a few VIPs about a question sent in from one of you out there, okay? So my first guests are a hilarious couple who are regular YouTubers and their channel is all about their relationship. Please welcome Matt Brooks and Glory Kim, known as Slice and Rice. So glad to have you guys on the show. My next guest is also a popular YouTuber who will, among other things, ladies, help you get your curls right and tight. So please welcome to the stage, Kelly Shahbazian. So glad to have y'all here. Thanks so much for being on our first show, y'all. Let's get right to it. And keep in mind, we're talking about real things that young people go through every day. All right. So this question was sent to me on Instagram by Lily Jane, and she wants to know, when do I know when the right time is to start dating? I'm 17, going on 18, and I'm still not sure. And how do I know who is the right person to date? Also, Chaz, can you pronounce my name incorrectly? All right, so it's Lily Jane Arissa Star Thomas. That's a lot. Let me go with Lala Janae Arissa Star Thomas. Gotta roll the R's. So yeah, let's start with the happy, soon-to-be married couple, Slice and Rice, Matt and Glory. They just recently got engaged. Give it up for them, y'all. Yeah, y'all, so when is it okay? Go ahead. What do you think?
I think that it's crazy, but I think it's an individual thing. I think early on, everybody wants some sort of companionship, whether it be a friend or just anyone, someone that they can have to themselves to some degree. But I think as you get older, I think that you should start to have those questions with yourself as far as, okay, what is it exactly that I want? Is this going to be long term? Is this going to be short term and stuff? Once you feel right, I think that's a good time to start to bring other people into your world.
How about you, Gloria?
Yeah, I think when you're 17 or 18, you're still pretty young. And so when you're dating around, typically, at least when I was 17 or 18, I wasn't really thinking about marriage. So you're still kind of young, so it's okay if it doesn't work. But when the time feels right, you can kind of like get to know that person and start dating. And if it doesn't work out, it's fine, because at that age, I was still dating around. And I feel like the more you date around, the more you get to know yourself and what you like. But you're still young, so just remember that. Don't take it too seriously.
So, Kelly, I know you've been married for how long?
7 years.
7 years. Everybody congratulate her for that. That's awesome. Yeah. So, was your husband your first relationship? Were you dating before that?
No,
what was it
I
like
dated
for you?
before.
Okay, what was that like for you?
I'm a big advocate for like therapy and mental wellness, and I know like most 17-year-olds are not trying to do that, but I feel like I experienced some unnecessary heartbreak because I didn't really learn about myself and the issues that I have, or maybe childhood traumas and things like that that could affect your relationship, that will affect your relationship.
Okay, so each of you touched on the importance of self-preparation before going into a relationship. Like it seems as though that if you're not, then that means the relationship could just blow up terribly. Do you all have any experiences like that? Like did you each stress on that point?
Yeah, actually for me personally, sorry Matt, when I was younger before Matt, I honestly feel like, okay, this is gonna sound kind of weird, but like all my life, I've always been in a relationship. I never, like, if I had a break between two guys, it would be like not that long. The bad thing about that was when I would be in my next relationship, sometimes I would have friends that were single and they'd be doing single girl things, and I would actually kind of envy them, and then that would bleed into like damaging things between me and my boyfriend at the time. And that has actually done more damage than good.
I agree. I think as a teenager as well, I was kind of always talking to somebody if I wasn't dating. And I think for young girls especially, that is a root of insecurity, or there's a lot of different reasons why. Maybe they didn't have their father in their life. So I think always wanting like male attention is an issue. Yeah.
What do you feel, just start to think about it, what do you think are the worst things about beginning to date? Because everybody always thinks about like the joys of it, or being in a relationship, goals, all these things like that. But there could be some pretty awkward things too. Like, I've been on a few pretty awkward ones myself. I remember there was just the general feelings, but I remember one time I had met up with this girl in the city, New York actually, and we were supposed to, I planned out all these things, like spent unnecessary money. And she was cool, but it was just like you were saying, she was not ready, I was not ready, and it was just extremely awkward. Conversation wasn't even flowing, and I just left like disappointed. Like, why did I do this? So what are some experiences like that you all have had? Just real things.
I feel like early on, you're thinking way too hard because everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be right. If you sneeze in the middle of a conversation, they're like, oh man, I'm being...
You gotta hold your breath?
They think I got allergies, man. Oh, I can't do this. But we were in college when we met, and I was trying to impress, so it was a lot of competition. What she didn't know was I'm a big fan of video games, and I didn't know how she would take it, so I just never talked about it. Like, I played a lot. So early on, I was, put on a little front, try to be like cool, sly a lot, until eventually it just started. It was the real me, so I would say jokes that were like video game like, and then I was just like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. This is who I am.
I need to tell you, I have a confession to make.
I like Super Mario and all this stuff. So, but once I did that, as you can see, she stuck around, and it was all cool and stuff.
I got the rings now.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, show it all, man.
Okay. That's that YouTube AdSense money right there.
Watch the whole thing.
Do any of you have any final points for people who just feel like they need to go on a date with somebody, or they're about to and they're just nervous? Like, any tips?
I don't know. I think the other person that you are going to go on a date with is also just as nervous. So just kind of let that sink in and be like, okay, we're both nervous. It's not just like the pressure's on me. That's another way to think about it.
And like Glory said earlier, if it doesn't work out, just don't beat yourself up over it. So many people in this whole world, so just keep it moving and just take it as a time in your life and just enjoy every moment if you can.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for all those answers. I want to thank you guys again for joining us. You can all follow them and check out more of their videos. For Kelly, at Joy Before Her on YouTube and Instagram. And for Matt and Glory, it's at Slice N, like the letter N, Rice on YouTube and Instagram. And feel free to hit us up if you have a comment or question at Simply Put Show or hashtag Simply Put Show. And when we come back, we'll talk more with Slice and Rice about how they went from dating to being engaged and some of their real life challenges as a couple. Stay tuned for Real Talk. And again, follow us at Simply Put Show. Welcome back, everybody, to Simply Put. We're talking today about dating and relationships with YouTube sensations Slice and Rice. And in case you've been lying under a rock and are not hip to who these two are, check this out.
Hey! You happy to see me?
I'm in the middle of a game.
Hi, Maddie. Hey, Lola.
Me and Lola are enjoying.
This is our crib, and we put our shoes down over here. And that's something that Matt doesn't really like, but that's an Asian thing that we have to do. Why are you wearing your Yeezys? Maddie, why are you wearing these? Seriously.
If I'm going to spend all these money on these shoes, I'm gonna wear them everywhere. I'm gonna wear them to sleep. I'm gonna wear them when I take a shower.
So we met in school. We went to Towson University.
I remember I saw Glory sitting down by herself. I was like already attracted to her early on.
Man, I really hate how we don't, we only come up with video ideas the day of.
It's always a lot to do, so.
Yeah, you gonna turn this off? Since 2006, like he had his own channel, I had my own channel. We didn't know each other until, you know, we met in 2014.
So when I found someone that loves the same thing that I do, and she's my girlfriend at the time, I was like, yo, it's only right that we just combine forces and just be strong.
So right now, we are driving to a Korean store, and this is where I do all of our Korean food reaction stuff. The thing I like most about Matt is that he's like really understanding. He's a really good listener and he's really patient. I love that about him.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, and 3. What's up, ninjas? And I think at the end of the day, you know, my last day here on Earth, like I can feel happy and satisfied that I'm with someone that loves me and just unconditionally.
Once again, please shoot us your questions or comments so that we can have them personally and answer them on the show at Simply Put Show. Let's take a question from the audience. Let's see. All right, how about you? You got a question? You look like you got a question. You look inquisitive. Yeah, you go ahead and stand up. Just tell everybody your name.
Hi, my name is Brahmjot.
Yeah, and what's your question?
So what do you think about Tinder and online dating as like it's a new thing? So, you know, how do you guys feel about that as opposed to like organically meeting?
Okay, so I've personally never had a Tinder, but I have some friends that have met on Tinder and are in serious relationships. And so I personally don't think there's anything wrong about it. I think it's just more about your intention. And even if you might have good intentions being on Tinder, the other person might not. So you just have to be really clear about standing your ground and knowing what you want.
I have a lot of friends that do online dating, and they've met some really special people and still in relationships with people that they've met off of online sites and stuff. So I definitely think that it's a nice place to go to find someone. You just have to know what you want to look for, whether it's something long distance or you just look for friends and all of that. Establish that early so everyone's on the same page before you meet them.
Thank you. So, something else special though. I'm pretty sure that you guys got some questions from your followers. Can you share one of them? Like, what we got?
Absolutely. Let's go to Instagram really quick and see.
Okay, so this one is a really commonly asked question. So this one's from Yasmin.4419, and she said, "What's the most difficult thing about being in an interracial relationship?"
Very relevant. Very timely question.
So the most obvious difficult thing about being in an interracial relationship was coming from a family and my parents who are very traditional, kind of stuck in their ways. And so when I first started dating Matt, they kind of were in denial that he was my boyfriend. They were in denial, they couldn't even accept it. And it was
Getting
like
a
that.
stiff arm from the parents, bro.
It was rough, man.
Yeah, and it was like that for a long time. But Matt is such a good guy. He was my parents are Christian too, so they love, he was Christian, he's such a good guy, but they just couldn't really look past him being black.
I was understanding, I understood where the root of that came from. But I knew that once they got to know me, I knew that I was going to break those barriers down. And I don't say that to brag, but it was really I feel like at the end, love wins, as crazy as that sounds. As long as they could see how special, how much I love Glory, and how respectful I am, I couldn't see parents rejecting their daughter of something like that, because I feel like that's what they would want for their kid. So, whenever I come over, I wouldn't look crazy. I make sure I wore a nice outfit. I had a haircut. I didn't pop in hey, everybody. So
What's good?
Yeah, exactly. I made sure I represented myself really well and my family. You even said the first time I met your mom, she was like, "It feels like a son to me."
Yeah,
Wow.
that was
Yeah.
You said the first time?
the first
She
time.
said it reluctantly, he's my son and I know it.
And this was still kind of early in our relationship. She told me, she's like, I don't know what it was, but oh my God, I'm gonna cry, stop, okay. She said that he felt like a son to her, so that's not something to be taken lightly for my mom to say, because she's so, she doesn't just say stuff just to be nice.
At that point, it just really felt like family. I was part of the family. I was getting included in things. When birthdays come, the presents started increasing. Tyler, what I'm saying, went from hugs to cars to gifts. It was I was like, oh, I got more than a car this time. Oh, okay, I'm making progress. And it just kept going. And then it hit that time where I was like, hey, I'm gonna ask them if I can marry Glory. I was that comfortable. I was scared, but I was that comfortable. And
Despite all that, how did you both know that you were right for each other?
Attracted is not the right word. It just felt like we were just so drawn to each other. And so, but because my parents were so against it in the beginning, I told Matt, I was like, listen, let's just not talk to each other for a month. And if it sounds corny and cliche, but if it is meant to be, it will be. And we did this for a month, and for some reason, there were situations that forced us to come face to face, not even on our own free will. It was just so obvious.
It was just working, flowing smoothly.
Yeah.
So I'm so looking forward to hearing more, and I'm sure everybody else is too, but we've got to take a break. So again, hit us up with your questions or comments at Simply Put Show, and we'll be right back.
Noodles and things accordingly. Water's not wet. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Hey, what? Yes, what? Grab something to eat, go to the bathroom, and wash your booty now, before we leave. Because when this car starts moving, I'm not stopping. Why are you so angry? Because I'm not stopping! Dad?
Yeah. You promise you won't yell?
Yeah.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Boy, I told you to go before we get in the car!
But I didn't have to go before.
I'm not stopping!
Shh. Gosh, how much longer till we get there?
About 15
Oh, that's nothing.
hours!
Huh?
15 hours!
Without even going to the bathroom?
I'm not pooping!
Or stopping for food?
I'm not eating!
What are you, fasting?
I'm speeding!
You tripping!
I'm road tripping!
Wait, what's that dinging noise?
Yo, we on E!
We are not stopping!
Dad, we need gas!
Gotta go fast!
Nah, you gotta pull up. How is this even possible?
Cause I'm not stopping!
But you're breaking the laws of mechanics.
And I'm not putting my foot on the brake! Now I'm breaking the law!
Please stop the car, there's a cop.
Stop the car! Dad, please! It is a cop!
And I ain't gonna stop!
Oh no!
I gotta go!
Pull over!
I'm not stopping!
I will have to use force.
He said he gonna use the force!
I'm not stopping!
Oh no!
Go, go, go!
This is Officer 2 requesting for backup.
He said he calling his phone!
I'm still not stopping!
We got a rapid driver speeding on the highway.
But we not gonna stop! I'm not stopping!
He appears to be going on
I'm
a
not
road
stopping!
trip,
I'm not stopping!
and he's not stopping.
I'm not stopping! I'm not stopping!
Well, that was one heck of a ride. What's poppin', people? Welcome back to Simply Put. We are coming to you from the YouTube space in New York City, and we have been having a rather lively discussion about dating and relationships with my guests, Slice and Rice. And joining us now to offer some advice is our expert, Matt Boudwin. Matt is a youth pastor in New Jersey and serves as a crisis counselor in his hometown of Burlington. And he is also a self-proclaimed kid at heart. So please welcome Matt to the show. Yeah, so one of the things that we were talking about in the break was, a three-letter word that rhymes with flex. No, but for real though, there's a lot of teens that are sexually active. It's real. So I wanted to ask you, what do you see is the role in sex within relationships, and how does it affect those relationships both before and after marriage?
Sure. My belief system is sex is more than a physical act. It's a spiritual act. It's something that ties two people like supernaturally together. So if someone is sexually active in a relationship, they're going to be bound to that person. And I've heard this old illustration. It's kind of like a piece of tape. Like if you put a tape on a person's clothing and like pull it off, you're going to have a little bit of that person with you. I believe in abstaining from sex from marriage, and that's not a popular belief. Sex should be the icing on the cake, right? Sex should be something that binds you two together forever.
So Matt and Gloria, in your relationship, has that been personal for you at all, or if you feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah. No, we were open about it on our YouTube channel. When we first met, we actually had different opinions about it. So that's a whole nother story. I had a personal conviction that was, I want to say, pretty much opposite of Matt's conviction. So how do you combine those two? How do you compromise? How do you meet in the middle when one person thinks that you should save it and one person thinks that it should be only exclusive between you two, but you don't necessarily have to save before marriage? You know what I mean? So we've definitely been through it, and we've kind of had our ups and downs, pun intended.
Whoa!
No, I'll let Matt take over.
Wow, she just dished on you, bro.
Well, I would say
No, not everybody knows. Okay.
that's
So,
all
yeah.
folks.
Actually, though, like, how did that affect your relationship, just objectively?
So when I got with Glory, and like later in our relationship, when this kept coming up, it's like, hey, like, I don't know if we should do this. I respect that for one, because if she doesn't want to do nothing, no one should force it. So I was like, all right, well, we're gonna stop and we're gonna figure this out. I think ultimately we want to just make sure we're doing right what God wants for us. I didn't realize how powerful I was, Chaz, to refrain. There was like a lot of stuff that came up, and it was just like, oh man, just look.
That's real. That's real.
You really love somebody, and then it's like, yo, it's the beach day. Word, it's beach day. I think I'm gonna be sick. Can't go.
No, those are great points. Thank you for sharing like your personal story. But there's a lot of people who don't believe in God too. So what about like just for everybody else who that doesn't apply to, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, we have friends that don't necessarily believe what we do.
We don't judge them, but we just want to make sure that it's healthy. We want to make sure that both sides are on the same page, because I think that's important.
Matt, what about like for people who just think it's, it's no big deal, like they've never really been hurt before, it's just casual. How do you see casual sex, like in your experience working with young adults so much? Like how have you seen that affect people personally and within relationships?
Number one, I would encourage anybody, if you're thinking about having sex, number one, just think about the outcomes of this. It's not something to experiment with, I think, because, and that, again, personal convictions, but this is based off of statistics. But stats are going to show that many people don't know how to handle themselves appropriately in sexual relationships. So for that reason, I would say leave it exclusive, leave it between a husband and wife, and leave it between two people who are truly, truly in love and want the best for each other. And then, hey, have at it.
All right, thank you all so much for your answers. We got to take another break, but when we come back, we're going to talk more and see what you all are saying on social media, as well as get a couple more questions from the audience. So hit us up at Simply Put Show if you want to talk to us. Don't go anywhere. Don't click away from the page. This is YouTube.
I always used to have a lot of trouble just starting my homework.
All-nighters were a normal thing for me. And then a friend told me about Pryzchodniez.
Pryzchodniez targets the neurons in your brain that are responsible for focus.
I could feel the results working within minutes.
Do not use Pryzchodniez if you have pre-existing heart condition, a family history of high blood pressure, a family history of low blood pressure, or blood.
Wait, what?
For best results, apply directly to the forehead. Avoid direct contact with head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Okay, that was weird, but what you say about blood?
I could never turn my assignments in on time until I tried Pryzchodniez.
Wait a minute, did she just do that like 20 seconds ago? And why are we all up in nature? Shouldn't we be doing homework?
Pryzchodniez may lower your ability to fight infections, lung disease, bubonic plague, your little brother, the common cold, and the urge to procrastinate.
The urge to procrastinate is the reason why I took this in the first place.
Side effects may include sweating, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, twitching, and ugliness.
Yo, am I the only one who's hearing this? This woman just said ugly. I'm leaving.
Other side effects may include body odor, ashiness, crusty lips, more diarrhea, leprosy, an increased chance of getting rejected after sliding in someone's DMs, death, and the sniffles.
What? Death? Don't do this! This will kill you!
No more procrastination for me. Thanks, Pryzchodniez.
Thank you. What could you possibly be thankful for right now?
Ask your doctor if Pryzchodniez is right for you.
No! Do not ask anyone anything about this! If you take this, you will die! Why are you walking in slow mo? Oh wait, hold on. I just got a DM. Wait a second. Okay. She rejected the DM! The side effects are factual! Please, get a tutor! Get some real help! See a psychologist! Anything but
Take Pryzchodniez, because that exam is going to kill you anyway, right?
Welcome back to Simply Put. I'm Chaz Smith, and we're going to continue our discussion with Slice and Rice and our expert, Matt Boudwin. Okay, let's see what y'all said on Instagram, all right? We have a question first from @Madeline.hs_ from North Carolina, and she says, on what date are you supposed to have your first kiss? Glory, how about you answer that one?
Ooh, okay. This is a tricky one. It's okay, just like kind of feel it out. don't feel like because you're the girl or because he's the guy or vice versa, it has to be a certain way. You know what I mean? Don't feel like, oh my gosh, like I really want to kiss him and I know he wants to kiss me, but I need him to kiss me first. You know what I mean? Real quick little story. Me and Matt were like talking a lot. We never really went on like a date because we would like talk all the time, every day of the week for like hours on end. And we kind of like tested our waters because he like first kissed me on my hand, and then we were both like, okay.
Oh, you're going deep with this.
But that was kind of like a mutual understanding, so I'm not going to go further than that, but that's kind of like after we talked a lot, like, 'cause we didn't want to rush into it. It was very slow.
We got another one from I promise I'm not the father. And he asks, how do I ask her out? He sounds desperate, y'all. Like, just that's how I read that, but that's what I feel like his emotion was in typing it. But yeah, Matt, how about you answer that one, bro?
So I would say, what is his name? I'm not your father.
His name is I promise I am not the father.
It's not Darth Vader. So I would say, for me, it took me a while because I have to feel confident. Like if I just meet you in that split second, like I can't just ask you out on a date because I'm like, there's a high chance you're gonna say no, and I don't know if my heart can take that. I waited a little bit before I asked Glory. I never took Glory out on a date, so I think we just went somewhere on campus that was free because I was on a budget.
But it just happened really organically though. Like, yeah, awesome. So we got one more question, and this one is a deep one. This comes from @Lane Geardes, who asks, I probably pronounced that incorrectly, by the way, but it's what I do. I find myself comparing people who want me now to my ex. Since she left me, I still miss her. So is it wrong of me to miss the things in her / about her? I find myself wanting all that she was in a current girl. If I don't find that, then I stay alone. Now, 3 years have passed and it's still that way. So, Mr. Expert, what do you have to say about that?
Number one, it's not wrong. It's not wrong to want something admirable in the person that you're currently with that you might have experienced when you were in a previous relationship. So, is it wrong? No. Is it detrimental? Probably yes. Reason being is because if every time you're with the current person, you're thinking about the other person, you're not with that person. You're with the memories of that other person, and that's gonna be super harmful for the relationship you're currently in. You wanna be in the moment, you wanna be in the relationship 100%.
Present.
Yeah. Is it detrimental? Yes. And his last question was, am I gonna be, or is it better to be alone? Listen, there's a million fish in the sea. You just gotta put yourself out there and the right one. Be the realest, best version of you, and that person is gonna be attracted to you no matter what.
Great. That was all just awesome, y'all. But we're gonna get 2 questions from the audience real quick. Head over here. Hi, how you doing?
I'm good.
Share your name with everybody.
My name is Anoma.
And what's your question?
My question is that in a lot of relationships, and I think like most people have this expectation that girls are more vulnerable and open. So with that in mind, is it okay for girls to initiate and ask a guy out?
Ooh.
I would say yes. I don't think it's wrong or anything like that. I think some gentlemen might not be used to that, which might set them kind of reeling. But either way, like if you feel strongly about somebody, put yourself in their path. And I would say give every opportunity for that person to ask you out first. Because that shows if they're motivated or not. They might just be a bonehead and they don't want you. So you don't want to put time into that. But with that said, yeah, why not?
I would say yeah. That would have saved me a lot of time.
You're gonna get one more. And what's your name?
Mai.
And what's your question, Mai?
So first, congrats on everybody, because that's amazing. And I have to be that one person to ask the depressing breakup question. But is it possible, if you guys mutually break up with somebody, to be friends afterwards?
It's a great question. Yeah.
I'm good. I have my opinions about this.
What are they? Go ahead.
Before we even got on stage, I asked Matt, I was like, are you still do you still have a friendship with some of your exes? You know, like I was just genuinely curious, and we both talked about it.
Sure.
And, you know, he said he's cordial, and like I would say I'm cordial too, but like I actually don't really talk to any of my exes, and I personally believe that if I loved or liked them in the past one time, like I don't want those feelings to come back, and I don't even really want to risk it. So I think being cordial is good, but I personally believe in my own life, because I know my strengths and my weaknesses, that I would choose not to be friends with someone that that was my ex.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. Well, whether you're in a relationship or not, I hope what you've heard today has helped you figure some things out, or at least given you a different perspective than you had before. And I want to thank my guests, Slice and Rice, aka Matt Glory, or the other way around, Matt Glory, aka Slice and Rice, Kelly Shahbazian and Matt Boudwin for joining us. Clap it up for them, y'all. But once again, don't go anywhere. We have so much more coming up, including a live performance from my boy, Tragic Hero.
Godspeed when I'm running through the lights. Distance over speed, ain't no flashing lights. God open door, call that suicide. Come through in my bucket, I got too much drive.
Yeah, kids under 5.
Hey, bro, I'm about to make some quesadillas. You want a quesadilla? Yeah, bro, I want a quesadilla. What's poppin', people? Welcome back to Simply Put. I'm Chaz Smith. This is our first show, and I'm having a great time. That discussion was dope. Are y'all enjoying this? Yeah? This segment, though, right here is called Double Tap, because it's all about someone who we like. Someone who, if we're scrolling through their IG, we gon' double tap on the post because they're doing something that's excellent and therefore double tappable. So my next guest is an incredible 17-year-old young lady named Tyler Newman. We have an awesome video that we want you guys to check out. She started this blog to empower girls of color and encourage them to share their stories. We wanted to see exactly how she makes it happen. So here we go.
Hi, my name's Tyler Newman and I'm the founder of Afro Chronicles. I've been going to an all-girls, predominantly white school for years now, and I always found it really hard to connect to the stories of other girls at my school. So instead of wallowing in my situation, I decided to make my own solution. That is how Afro Chronicles was born, and it's become a place where girls of color from all around the world can share their stories and their experiences. One thing that actually almost stopped me from publishing Afro Chronicles was my fear of what people would think and the fear of people rejecting my idea. I talked a lot with my parents and especially my dad, and he told me that people will always have something to say about your ideas, whether it be good or bad, and what really matters is how you feel about your own idea, if you're growing in your idea and if it makes you happy and fulfilled, and Afro Chronicles did that for me. It's been one of the best things that have ever happened in my life. I've never gotten any negative feedback about Afro Chronicles just being a place for girls of color, because I feel like a lot of the non-POC people that are active supporters of the blog, they all really respect that it is a community designated for girls of color. They also feel like they have a responsibility to support and learn, and I feel like that's the most important thing that has come out of it. Growing up, I didn't see a lot of black faces on TV. I feel like that's just been something that's been recent. There's been so much representation lately, and that's hugely gratifying, but there's often sometimes girls of color or girls who have specific backgrounds that still don't see themselves in just mass media, and I feel like it's really important to get as many of those unique stories out as possible, so a girl won't grow up feeling like she's different or there's something wrong with her because she doesn't see herself out there. Those people that have said that the blog has changed their life, those are the things that mean more than a simple like or comment or how many followers I have. Those are the things that are truly important.
That is dope right there. She's only 17. Congratulations, Tyler. That is a huge accomplishment. And listen, if you'd like to be featured on Afro Puff Chronicles, check out Tyler at Afro Puff Chronicles on IG. I'm having trouble saying that, but you know, as I said, it's what I do. Pronounce things incorrectly. And if you'd like to be featured on our show, because you're doing something that is also double tappable, please hit us up and tell us why at Simply Put Show, or email us at simplyputshow@gmail.com. Coming up next, what we like to call our DM segment. You're gonna hear some real life direct messages from loud folks out there who need to get some stuff off their chest. So stay right there. I'm Chaz Smith, and this is Simply Put. This is the part of our show where we allow you guys exactly 20 seconds max to state a direct message about a topic that has been on your mind or to a person that you would normally say in private via DM. This can be about any topic within reason, of course, okay? So here we go. We got the first DM from @TheRealClay. He's 19 and from North Carolina. Let's check it out.
I'm sick of acne and dry skin that no matter what I use, nothing makes a single difference. You name it, I've tried it. Toothpaste, I've used kombucha, I've used motor oil, I've used hair gel, I've used my own snot, I stooped, I used essential oils. And you know what essential oils does? Absolutely nothing.
That was hilarious. Can anybody relate to that? Does anybody have acne problems like that in this audience? It's just ridiculous, all right? Our second one is from @RayYouSuck. She's 19 and she's from Detroit. Let's see what she had to say.
Hi, Simply Put. My name is Ray with the E. What I'm ranting about is closure. Is it really necessary for every situation? Because what I'm going through, I'll never be able to get closure on that, like literally ever. So yeah, is closure really necessary?
Dang, everybody just said, Our last one is from @Akash.Jagdale. He's from New York. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey, what's up? My name's Akash, and I hate when I move into a 4-bedroom apartment and no one is freaking home. Look, nobody's upstairs. Where are they? I don't know. I don't know where they are. I just want some friends, man. I just want some...
Dang, y'all, can we just give like one lonely tear for Akash? This dude is out here struggling. But I can actually relate, though. I used to live with 3 other roommates in LA, and there'd be times I was at home by myself, and I'm like, why don't I go out at all? I was home all the time. But anyway, don't forget, on a lighter note, when we come back, Tragic Hero will be performing live, so stay right there.
This is so speed, ain't no flashing lights. Open door, cut out suicide.
Hello and welcome to It's Lit. My name's Chaz Smith. This is
Kate.
And this is Stove. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
1,
2.
You ready?
Oh, okay.
All right, let's cook the food. It's lit. Okay, we got the butter. Got the syrup. Got the cooking spray. 2 eggs. All this mix. And the recipe calls for, get that out of here. We don't go with recipes.
We don't need no recipe.
Listen, over here we are men. Men don't measure squat. No, that's a lie. Men, that's a lie. Should I go with one hand? I'm gonna try with one hand. Split. Hey.
Oh, you.
Oh, okay. That's inevitable.
You're not.
Wait, look at what this man just did. Bruh. Redemption time, okay? There we go. Okay, yeah, there we go. On the box, it said 3/4 cups mix to every egg. Let's see, we're eyeballing right now. That's about 1 cup right there.
Is it?
That's about 1 cup, 2 cups. I think that's about 2 cups right there. Now, since this is Valentine's Day, we're going to add the dye to it, but we'll do that after we mix. You feel me? Like.
Oh, that's smelling good already.
You feel me? Milk! Why
milk?
We need milk. He needs some milk.
Oh, he needs some milk.
Almond milk.
Yes, almond milk. Slowly pour it in. I'll tell you when to stop. All right, that's good right now. Last but not least, we need that food dye, bruh.
Oh, the food dye. This is the finishing touches right
For
here.
the Valentine's Day waffles.
I'll put a couple drops in first
2
like
drops.
that,
All right,
you know.
cool. Now.
Okay, I think that's it. That's it. And then you just close it.
That's it?
That's enough?
Yes.
There should be a little thing.
There you go.
Nope, it spreads out.
All right. Okay.
I don't know if it's enough.
I don't think that's enough either. Is it? Y'all think it's enough? We'll find out.
I'm looking for a little more.
All right, let's see. Look at that. That's not bad. We definitely could have put more batter in there, and I want it to be like red. So it came out brown.
Well, that's pink
With
on the
pink,
sides.
it's pink.
Pink on the sides. It's pink. 2, 3. Oh, yeah, if we really want it to be red, I think we're gonna need some more dye. We're gonna add a little bit more than last time. This time.
You might as well just pour the rest in.
No, I think we got enough for 3 for each of us.
Ooh!
Oh,
hold up!
It's looking better.
It is like we're improving.
Wow,
Look how
that's
much
scary.
brighter that is. For this last one, I want to put a little bit more of the food dye in there.
Tell me when to stop.
3rd time's so charming. Right there, babe. You ready?
We've been
for the
waiting.
reveal?
I mean, look how red that is.
That honestly looks good.
Happy Valentine's Day. We gotta try it now. Now, it is time for the taste test. We add the butter. Stove. Oh look, you put the butter on the edges to make the syrup go over more smoothly. Syrup.
Like a light amount.
Stove, how much you want, bro?
Oh, I'm gonna look away.
Go ahead with it.
Keep going.
Really?
Keep going.
Wait, let's let one pour over into another one.
There you go.
Oh, that's it.
There it is.
Hey! Okay, that's good.
All right, now
That's the analogy right
That's
there.
right there.
like an even amount. 1,
2, 3. Oh, hold up.
It's not bad. All right, y'all. That's enough of the pancakes. I mean, these things, waffles. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
The disrespect.
I didn't mean it like that. Happy Valentine's Day. It's lit. Hopefully next time we'll cook some good food. Welcome back to Simply Put. My next guest is all about music with a message. Please give it up for Tragic Hero. What's going on, dog? How you doing, man?
It's an honor to be here, bro.
Thank you. I'm glad to have you here, bro.
And I'm excited, bro.
Look, so in your music, you get really deep and like just raw with what you share, like topically. How have your past relationships influenced some of your music and creativity?
It influences all of my music. I think it's what makes it so relatable with people. I show everybody the bad, the good, and the ugly. And honestly, it's because of that so many people are like attracted to my music.
Thank you so much for your vulnerability. And hey, you guys, if you want to follow him, check him out at I Am Tragic Hero. He's about to go to the stage to perform. But otherwise, that just about does it. I want to thank all of my guests again today, Slice and Rice, Kelly Shahbazian, Tyler Newman, and Matt Boudwin for being on the show. And a big thank you to our live studio audience right here. Give it up for yourselves, y'all. Yes. Thank you for your energy. And thanks especially to you for watching. You watched through this whole thing, like, without clicking away. You're a real one. You special. But listen, dating and relationships are never easy. They take effort. And me, personally, I am far from being a relationship expert, but I do know that no matter how old you are or what stage of a relationship you're in, what's most important in any relationship is communication, trust, and respect. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Chaz Smith coming to you from the YouTube space in New York City, and this is Simply Put. Love, peace, and chicken grease.
Mistakes, I mean, I wish you the best. I need
but I feel I'm on the verge. On my best day, I needed God just as much as on my worst. I never had nothing hot. Born gifted, put a rap on it, everything came with a padlock on it, singing on key, yeah, I'm coming back out with it. The type of love that's unconditional, the type that makes me feel invisible, the type of love that lets us see you doing better. I hope I die for that principle. I sing.
Used to be friends, yeah, we used to, yeah. Ain't no shaking hands, I refuse to, yeah.